And you're now listening to TLKInfamous. Hey guys, we are back with TLKInfamous. My name is Socially. We got Saint here.
What's up?
What's going on, y'all? I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm excited to get into the topic.
We're excited. So we talking about transactional relationships, and this is a word or a phrase that I've been hearing these past few months.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it was needed to be brought up because I just think that I don't know. I feel like younger people are misinterpreting what transactional mean.
Right.
And right off the bat, like personally, like you have a lot of women that is advertising this type of transactional idea. Like, well, listen, if he ain't paying a bag, he ain't getting my Birkin, then he ain't getting nothing. And literally and I know that's so like mundane. Like, obviously we know that's not the case, but right. This is all you hear. And if you constantly be hearing the same thing, and it's not just from like one or two people, it's a lot of the mainstream artists, a lot of these social influencers that are running with the story. Well, if he ain't getting me a car, then ain't nothing here for it. And I feel like a lot of the transactional stuff is geared towards monetary value.
Right.
And that's completely wrong because,
right.
Of course, like you do want some financial freedom, or you want to have the relationship where you can get something out of it, whether, you know, rent or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you base your relationship on a monetary value, then you're not really gaining anything out the relationship except something that can disappear easily. It's not really tangible, or I think it is tangible. You get what I'm saying. So,
and there's also like on the flip side for the guys. Like what do guys really? Is it more like cooking and cleaning and sex? Like if she don't provide those things, but even now it's also too. I mean, it's like the whole city boy culture too. Like if she don't got it.
Wait, there's city boy culture?
Yeah, you know,
elaborate.
I'm not a part of that. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same sense. Like, you know, some guys now are expecting women to come in with, you know, with money, I guess. Or
you think so?
I mean, I'm seeing it all over, like on Instagram. I don't know. I think a lot of it, in a sense, is like jokingly, but to some extent, they still promoting it. You know, the idea. But even besides that, I guess from the guy's perspective, is more so in the sense like she should be able to cook, clean, provide me sex whenever I want it. Yeah, that's more so the idea. Will you say?
The idea of it, but you know, I feel like
so it comes from both ends.
Of course, that has been like when it comes to the old days, how like, oh, a woman's role and a man's role. Yeah. Cool. But I feel like it definitely has been, I think men are speaking up now, because if you're saying that you need a house for me and you need a car for me, then if you want to say that and you want to say it boldly, then I'm going to expect certain things like coochie and coochie and food.
It's important too. Remember, I feel like men, a lot of the patriarch, they created the system. And then it's like, now I feel like women now, I feel like women now, especially in the current age, especially when it comes to women in music and rap culture, and you know, rap just being a braggadocious type of thing. Right. Now women are kind of like, okay, now it's my time, it's my payback.
I
so it's like it's kind of flipping.
I agree with that, and I think it's so important that you said that, because a lot of people have that initial thought, but also the way women go about it, it doesn't bring you value. It doesn't like what you're saying, what you exactly say, and what they do. It doesn't execute that belief. It's done in the wrong way, where you gonna get this. I need to stop being so vulgar, but I
no,
just feel like it's
talk infamous. Hello,
talk infamous. But I feel like the way they say these statements is so vulgar, and I'm not saying you have to scale yourself back, but why is all the same statements the same, whereas you gonna get this fat punani, right? And if you get this fat punani, as long as I have my rollie, my car, this and that, and that's all that matters. And I'm not saying that's how they feel, but that's what they say in their music or their videos. That's all they say. I haven't heard anything else. I mean, if you're not in the mainstream industry, other than that, and that's why I want to go back to transactional relationships, and it's not just you know, your loved one. It could it's not just your intimate partner. It could be friendship, business, community, and parents. And I feel like that a lot of people have this type of thought, like, well, what's in it for me? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a problem.
There's nothing wrong with like, oh, what's in it for me? What is it going to serve me? But also, when you say that, you really have to go down the list.
And it's give and take.
Give and take. What am I offering and what am I getting from this?
What am I bringing to the table?
So, what's your thoughts on that before we dive in? I just said a lot.
No. I think it's like what you said was accurate. It's it just goes both ways. You know what I mean? It's like you said, transactional relationship is. It's transactional,
You getting
it's
something
give and
out
take,
of it.
right?
Whether you getting moral support, you getting someone to listen to you, and
it's all dependent on the type of relationship
that you have.
Yeah.
And I came across with somebody who said, every relationship is not transactional. That's completely wrong. Anytime you engage with somebody and it's for a period of time, you're creating a relationship. So that relationship, you're gonna get something out of it. If a friend comes over and they just always at your crib, eating your food, mooching your food, they ain't bringing nothing to the table.
You can
think that it's not transactional, like you're not getting nothing out of it, but this person's coming to your crib and they keeping you company. So that person, regardless if that person is taking and mooching and eating your food, you're still getting something out of it because now you're getting that comfort. You're getting that person to be there and listen to you all day. That company.
In a sense, it depends on that in that particular, because if you have a friend who's just coming over here to eat your food and is literally staying there to keep you company but aren't off, that relationship is not a transactional relationship. That's where you have to be like, hey, I got to cut that off.
But wait, how do you feel it's not transactional? Because regardless if
if you're just sitting there and you're not offering me anything,
she could be offering.
No, but okay, yeah. If she, like I said, it's different. It's different type of company. It's a company where people just sitting there and they just sitting there and like
wasting space.
Yeah, they're just wasting space, and they just come into your house to eat your food and use you for what you got. And then it's company where it's like, you don't consider that person mooching off your food because it's like, yo, we're just having a good time. She comes to me to speak, or he or she comes to me to speak. Advice, exactly. It's not, you're not even thinking about the food as a thought, babe. You have to think about the fact that your friend is mooching off you, eating out your. Then you're like, wait, this is a person. It's not about transaction. This is not a relationship because it's not give and take.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's a one-way relationship.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a one-way relationship, though.
Right, and that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like you cannot say that you have a relationship and it's not transactional.
Yeah.
I feel like every engagement with a person it's going to be transactional.
But that's why I think wording is important too, because like now I'm thinking about like, damn, we said transactional relationship. It's like relationships are just transactional.
Yeah.
As a part of the elements. It's not. There's no such thing as a transactional relationship. Relations comes with transactions.
Yeah. And also, too, I do feel like transactional do have a bad connotation to it. Like, a lot of people think, it's a transaction or like, but...
I just think I think when people think transaction, it's a monetary value.
Monetary value. And, transactional, I mean, that is very like, I did what I did and be done. But also, you get a lot of things out of it. So it doesn't have to just be that monetary value or that punani.
But that was actually one of the questions, like what does transactional mean to us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that kind of like sums it up. I mean, I think transactional is very much affiliated with money and capitalism, so that's why it has a bad connotation to it. So I think it's about us redefining what transactional means to us.
Yes, and so I wanted to go over the points. Let's start with ourselves.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, just with yourself, how do you feel like you're transactional to yourself?
To myself?
Yeah.
Or like what in relationships with other people?
No, just to yourself.
That's a hard question. I need to break that down. How can I be transactional to myself?
So like, let's say, I feel like you can be transactional to yourself because you giving and taking to yourself. So hindsight, let's say I go out and I'm partying all night, right? Now, if I'm partying all night and I know I gotta be up for an 8 a.m. meeting and it's gonna F me up where I can't think and I can't execute how I want to execute.
Right.
It's transactional because, child. I feel like it's transactional because instead of doing certain something that you shouldn't be doing.
Oh, it's kind of like sacrificing.
Yeah.
Like what sacrifices do you make,
right,
or how do you discipline yourself?
Right. When I say it's transactional, I feel like transactional is like an exchange.
Yeah.
So instead of you are basically exchanging your time for a good time. Rather than keeping your time, going home and making sure that you're there the next morning.
Right.
I feel like you exchange certain things with yourself every single day. You can tell yourself, listen, I'm going to work out tomorrow. But then you sitting here all day. You made a transaction with yourself. You chose to lay there all day rather than execute and work out. You know what I'm saying?
So when it comes to, I guess, like I said, for me, in that sense, especially in this time now, it's like, as you growing, it's like developing better habits. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you just switching out old habits with newer habits.
Right.
So I think that's like the best way I would sum it up. Like you say, like, you know, if I know for me, like speaking of the gym, like gym for me hasn't been like, I've been trying to get in the gym. Well, I've been working towards getting in the gym throughout this summer, and some months been better than others. Mm-hmm. Then this month wasn't really an ideal month. You know, I had a trip.
Yeah, you was busy.
Yeah, I was busy. I was just traveling, and I was just having a good time. And I was actually thinking about it yesterday, damn. But I also learned, like, for me, like, the gym may not be my way of physical fitness. Mm-hmm. But until then, I said, you know what, August is right around the corner, and I'm gonna, you know, jump back into it. But in the midst of it, I'm going to make sure I'm finding physical activities that's going to be a little bit more beneficial to me, because I don't feel like the gym is like my place.
Your go-to.
Yeah, this feels like work. I don't like to work. I don't like to work. Yeah.
Listen, I don't blame you.
I don't like to think. Okay, sorry. Let me take that back. Power of the tongue. I don't like to do things that feel like work.
That feel like work. You just want to enjoy, and hopefully you get
because work is required with anything. So that's why I'm learning. You know, work is important.
But I feel like that was a great example of, you know, just making a transactional decision of what's going to serve you more.
Right.
How do you see that in just friendships?
In friendships, I just feel like, you know, with friendship, it's like you said, it's about communication. More so for me, it's more so like support. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like stuff like that. I don't know. It's like the cliche stuff like that.
Cliche stuff. You know, when I hear like transactional relationships, I honestly ultimately think of just like inspiration. Like, mm-hmm. how does this person inspire me or motivate me?
Right.
And I feel like that should be one of the main things in any friendship that you have, because you constantly want to be motivated. You know, I surround myself with you because you do motivate me to let me do this, let me try this, you know. And so there's always an exchange where we're both getting something out of it. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be, you know, let's go to the movies.
Right.
Let's you know, let's go ride a bike or whatever. It's something that is, you know, in your spirit that you're getting something that's driving you.
You just kind of motivate me to answer my question, like the question you asked now. For me, definitely is trust. Trust is one of those things. Being like, feeling like I can be able to trust the person who I'm around. Mm-hmm. Another one is like simple as, like I said, like, you know, me and you, we go out to eat sometimes, and you'd be like, you know what, Kyle, I got it. Or I'll be like, I got it. Or sometimes it'd be like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm going to treat you. But she'll be like, no, Kyle, I'm going to at least throw a little bit something. Yeah. So like, you don't find that in a lot of relationships. And that's a kind of level of trust. I mean, you know, like, oh, this person, like, you know, loves me that much or cares about me that much. So like, you know, help me out. Or even while I don't need help, they're going to still, you know, step in. And there's been relationships where if I come across relationships like that, especially like when developing new friendships, and that kind of like, it's kind of like a red flag to me, because I'm the type of friend like that too. Like, I'm just going to be like, if we're doing something together or...
Wait, what's the red flag for you?
Like, for example, like, yeah, I mean, like, if we're all going out to eat or something like that, or not, I wouldn't even say going out to eat, but it's like, I'm trying to better, like, sum it up in a way that makes sense. I can't really sum it up. I can't. We're going to just, like, disregard... I mean, I don't disregard the statement, but I feel like... if you quote what I said, you caught it.
Right.
Pretty much. It's like, I can't really explain it. It's one of those things that kind of unspoken.
And you know what's so funny too? You know, that's an example of a good relationship.
Yeah.
But there's also things that you can take from a bad relationship that maybe ended in the wrong note or the wrong idea, whatever. But you still learn something from that. So even if you don't think that it served you purpose, you still learn something from that. So in that sense, it was transactional, because now you learn, oh, maybe I can't trust this person. Oh, now I know this is how I have to show up for myself moving forward. And, you know, that right there served you more than what you thought was serving.
Every time you speak, it kind of triggers the answers. Like, so for me, in a sense, like, it's like the fact that I feel like I can lean on you. That's what it is. Okay. So that's a sign that I can feel like. I remember we went out to eat yesterday. I was like, oh, yo, I mean, I'm going out, but I don't really know if I got it right now because I got things planned. Right. And one thing she said was like, we always got each other.
Right.
So I was like, all right, period, we out. So, but I wasn't like on betting on her to do that for me, but.
It's just the idea that you had that support.
Yeah, and it's been like, I've been in like friend groups, or I wouldn't say friend. I don't like I've been in like spaces where, you know, that happened. Like, you know, people like, yo, I don't know what
you're gonna do.
Right. And it doesn't feel good, but I know I don't put myself in those positions. If I don't got it, I ain't going.
Right.
But it feels good, like when you know, like your friend, like Keita's another one, like who does that for me. Like, you know, she really wants to go somewhere. Like, yo, Keita, I don't know. She be like, yo, Kyle, come outside. Like, yeah. So that was like one of those things.
Crazy.
But I think for me, like in regards to transactional relationships, the thing that relationships with transactions, the ones that is the most important to me, and I feel like I'm working towards navigating, and so the biggest struggle for me is the ones within communities. I feel like we're struggling in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that is a big thing too, and I just feel like, you know, if plain and simple, a lot of people feel like, oh, you know, I gotta move out the hood.
Yeah.
Or you know, this place is dangerous, or like even the way modern gangsters move now is like. But back in the day, wanksters. Back in the day, it used to be like, you can't shoot out over here. There's kids over here. There was principle. You couldn't be by the public library selling drugs. You couldn't be by the parks doing that stuff. The community had a say so in what went on, and I just feel like that needs to be brought back, because our community is kind of like it's
fractured. It's
fractured, and then not only you have your community being fractured, you also have your community being somewhat separated. And I wouldn't even say separated, but I would say expanding. Now you're having different people that haven't been brought up in the same old community coming to the neighborhood, whether it's gentrification. So you're kind of losing that community, that sense of community that you had. And that relationship that you have with the community. Before, you can go down the block, hey, what's going on? Let me get some sugar. We having a block party. A lot of that stuff you don't have now.
Yo, my old apartment, like I lived in the Bronx, so when I was in my own apartment before I moved to my house, literally, like we felt so safe. Like we didn't leave the door. We left the doors unlocked. Literally, you go upstairs. My cousins from upstairs. We'll go to their house and we'll find our plate in their house. So we'll like take a plate back. I'm dead. But we like go upstairs, get sugar. We eat. I'll go in the refrigerator. They'll go in my refrigerator. Michelle will come downstairs. Ron will be making macaroni and cheese. And she used to love like macaroni and cheese uncooked, like in the mix of it, like the cheese.
Craft? Oh yeah, that is good.
Like before you bake it. Yeah. And she will always come downstairs like, yo, Ron, can I get some? And it would be like the whole building, like everyone would be like being in my house. It was just like a sense of community. And I think a big part of that's fucking with it is social media. I think social media plays a huge part of it, being that not everyone is just like very much like, you don't have to go outside. You don't really have to go outside. And I remember like back then we used to have like, you know, community parks, like like events. And like block parties. Like even when we went to the block party this over this summer, it felt good to like, yo, there's people who still want to go outside.
Just be outside. You don't know who this person is, but y'all just standing there together doing nothing.
Yes,
you know?
And we had so many conversations, and we took pictures with people. We took pictures of people, and like when you go there and you actually like, and that's why I love like going out spaces and quote unquote social networking, because when you go there, you actually see like, oh my God, there's still people out here who wanna still be a part of the people, who still want to connect on a real level. And I think that's what we're missing, the real essence of being in physical spaces and being around each other. And I think that's what's missing. I think social media is a huge part of that.
I do agree with that, like in just terms of just having the isolation and everybody just being short with each other as well. I do want to say, you know, there's pros and cons to gentrification, and unfortunately but regardless of that, people's always gonna go where the spot is hot. You know, people's always gonna flood to Harlem or flood to Brooklyn streets. But I just want to say, like, with that being said, there's so many people coming in and out the community with the rent going high. It, like you said, like with New York, the rent is so high that people are not staying in the same space for long. A lot of people are nomads right now, and with that being said, it's like it's so hard to build a connection, build a community when you have different people coming in and out your building. You're like, who's this? You know?
But that's why I think also that's why it's important to, like I said, bring it back to the basics, like throw community events or set up flights, because a lot of times back then when a landlord was doing some fuck shit, the whole building rally up in front of the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see what's going on.
Yeah, and being that everyone's so disconnected, everyone in the building is going through the same issues. Yeah. Fuck the building, the whole city, the whole block. Right. The whole city, like everyone, the rent problem is a problem for everybody, but everyone's still going about their day, and no one's like willing to like go out, rally go out in the streets and actually make real change.
Yeah.
Real change happens in real time.
And taking steps into community, like you have the buildings that have like gardens and stuff.
Yeah.
How many people that's residents in that building actually participates in, helping, building, cleaning up their streets, or, helping that little garden that you have on the side block. You honestly,
where you have fruits for the building.
Or fruits for the building.
Natural produce.
Right. You don't see that stuff like that anymore. And I just feel like it's important. It's, it's okay to be like, yo, I'm doing this and, I'm moving. Yeah. That's fine. But it's also important to be transactional with your community too, because when you, it's not just about yourself. It's not just relationships. It's also about your society and where you're living, because that plays a big factor in the ways that you exchange yourself. And so that's why I just felt like it was important, part to bring up.
Yeah. And what's most important, I think we're trying to walk away with this is like, transaction doesn't equate money, Transaction is support, and I think that's the biggest issue. Like people feel like you said, what is it for me? And a lot of times, 9 out of 10, what they want out of it, money. Right. They want like I'm not doing this unless it comes with a price tag, and that's the issue. Like when I communicate, like even when it comes to like creating, a brand, or people want to. I remember I started tasting links, and I'm like some people around me. Everyone was expecting money. I'm like, yo, we can't make money. We're not probably gonna make money 5 years from now.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Vendors, who pull up, and I think it will. I know for you, it would make it a lot more easier if people just wanted to do this as a strength, like they believe in your idea.
And initially, like with a business, it's like, you know what, I value you.
Exactly.
I want to pay you. I want to pay you to do this, but also I honestly can't afford it. And the fact that I may not feel comfortable saying like, yo, you willing to help a person out, that's where we kind of lost, because back in the day where people was, dedicating time to do albums or, make a whole spot, nobody was expecting money. Of course, we knew
money
that
was the end goal.
Yeah, money was the end goal, but nobody was ever expecting money. And also back in the day, you felt more comfortable, be like, yo,
I was going to create.
Yo, you want to create? You want to help out?
Yeah.
But
let's just build something.
Right. I had to take myself back. Like, listen, if I can't afford to do something, I got to speak up too. Be like, yo. And sometimes you got to paint that picture for the other person that you're exchanging this transaction with. Be like, yo, we in this together. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get something out of it. So I feel like that was a great point in terms of businesses as well. Yeah. Of just being there, just coming, showing up. Yeah. You may not have to spend money, but just show up. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's important because like me, I was always that person. I'm still that person who's like, even when it comes like a photo shoot or something like that, especially when I first started, I'm like, yo, I'll do it for free. I'll do it, or I was always like willing to extend myself and extend myself out to people for like whether it's style. I remember like Meek would ask me, yo, I got you, da da. But I learned like also that it does require a balance, because not everyone's you. Right. Not every people will take advantage.
People will take, and then you'll have nothing left.
Exactly. So you got to weigh out those type of relationships and make sure, okay, this person's not going to take advantage of me, or this person, okay, this is how they move. So you got to be able to like weigh out those
balance
things.
It out, and it also not be like, well, I've done it before, I ain't doing it again. Everybody goes through different stages. Yeah. Everybody have different relationships. Everybody have different perceptions. So it's. I never recommend having that same mindset. Oh, this is going to happen. You don't know that's going to happen because be open. You never interacted with this person in that type of way.
Yeah, and like what I learned, like I said, going back to like transaction, like, hey, I'm supporting you. Even when it comes to internships, a lot of times you're not getting paid for internships. Right. So your transactions are, yo, I'm going in there for experience, and I'm helping. I'm going in for experience to build up my skill set and stuff like that. But also I'm going in there to help them out. Right. But also what I expect back in return is respect. Right. Because you ain't paying me, you're going to respect me. Right. And if they're not respecting you, then you have to get up and go. And that doesn't only apply to internships, but like I said, that applies to other work relationships where you have with either friends or people within your community. If you're not, hey, I'm here to support you, I believe in your idea, and I'm not asking for no pay, but what I'm asking is for you to respect me and you give me the same support and give me the same energy. Reciprocate. That's what it's about. Transaction is reciprocating energy. Period.
We're going to leave it like that.
We're going to leave it like that. I think that's the best way to end it off.
Listen, thank you so much for listening to TLKInfamous. Yes. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. Yes. We hope you liked it. And transactional relationships, transactions, all those words, it's a big context. We can't minimize it into a 30-minute segment. So please feel free to drop some comments with what it means to you. And, let's have a conversation.
Yes. Peace.